Shalom. Let's start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles, and elders of great millstone, salutations to those for that, just pushing the truth across four corners of the earth, all faith, truth, and sincerity. All right, I'm on about back when I was sitting. I just want to go into about, Trump, going to about the tariffs, that he's, pushing, in this article, that came out. This on Friday. This is August 8th. It said Trump warns, excuse me. It said Trump warns of another Great Depression if court strikes down tariffs. Now, with these tariffs that Trump are pushing, could it lead to a crashing of the stock market, a crashing of the economy in the United States? It possibly can, But by him saying that if the court strikes down his tariffs, that he's pushing, on these other countries, goods and shit like that, stuff like that, that, it could cause a Great Depression, But let's read it, though. I'm going to read it. So it said, even though President Donald Trump often argues the U.S. economy is booming under his watch, or whatever, delusional, he warned Friday of 1929 style. He warned it Friday of a 1929 style crash if courts strike down his use of emergency powers to justify sweeping tariffs. If a radical left court ruled against us at this late date in an attempt to bring down or disturb the largest amount of money, wealth, creation, and influence the U.S. has ever seen, it would be impossible to ever recover or pay back these massive sums of money and honor. Trump said in Truth Social post, it would be 1929 all over again, a Great Depression. So, Trump saying all this, bro, you saying that if they strike down your tariffs, on these other countries, that, it would be 1929. I guess what, he already imposed it or whatever. But I guess he's saying to go against it, it's gonna be 19, whatever. But either way, bro, it's gonna crash anyway. It's prophecy. The lawyer of Ashashai, he's in full control. The prophecy has gotta happen, right? And I'm gonna get that in Zephaniah. I'm gonna get into that. But all this is just prophecy of the Bible, of this place, America, Babylon Great going down. Lord Yahweh Shai bring this place down. Nothing's new under the sun. Greed and and just being prideful, is gonna bring down America, Babylon the Great. These Edomite devils, man. They pride, greed. It's gonna bring this place down. They're they don't acknowledge the Most High. Yahweh Shem Shai, they they trying to play the Most High. That what these Edomites are. Wanting to be like the Most High. You could try, and you're just not. You're just not that, man. The one created you, man, you know, is gonna bring you down hard, man. You so-called white people, red Edomite doubles, you elites, you bankers, that's in power, that control, you know, you know the, the things of this earth right now. Y'all in rulership, whatever, right? Y'all in control, but y'all time of rulership is coming to an end, it's running out. Y'all know it. Y'all, that's why y'all desperately doing what y'all doing. And like I said, this could be purposely being done to, like I say, to usher in, like to crash this dollar, to crash the dollar, to, bring in the new way of buying and selling. It's going to be by way of the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. That's what they want. They want to control you. They want to have full control. They want to know where you at all times. That's what it is, right? Now, it's a movie out right now on Prime with Ice Cube. It's called War of the Worlds. Now, it's not what you think it's going to be. It's not good with all, but if you pay attention to it, Ice Cube showing you in the movie, like Ice Cube playing I don't know who he playing as in the movie of War in the Worlds. I forgot who the character he playing, but he's on the computer as a I forgot what they call a U.S. Intelligent U.S. intelligent worker, or those that work with the government, whatever you want to say, to work with the government, surveillance. I forgot what they call it, right? Excuse me. But it's like the U.S. intelligence people, whatever, right? So, he's playing that character, and as things are going on, and he uses the technology they got, and the technology got to where they can see what you're doing, and they can hear you, and this and that. So, they got that going on now, you know what I'm saying, with your phones, and they can hear you from a distance, and here and there, they can zoom in on you, here and there, cameras and all that. So how much more once, like I said, this dollar crash, and you got to take that RFID chip. If you take that chip, man, they got you. They gonna know where you at all times. You gave yourself completely up to, this world, Satan, the Edomites. You completely get yourself over if you take that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. But that's what it's leading up to, and a lot of people think that, it's things gonna continue like it is, and you're gonna keep spending this paper dollar, this tissue paper, this paper dollar ain't really backed by no gold or silver, it has no value, credit card, debit card is gonna continue, they finna, these Edomite devils, so-called red people, so-called white people, red people, the Edomite devils know they time is running out. Their rulership, they know. You know what I'm saying? Lord Yahushua know he's gonna make his return. Lord Yahushua gonna make his return. It's a matter of time, the time is running out. And they know this, and they gotta push what they gotta push. The NWO agenda, and for those that don't comply, they're gonna get put in concentration camps. They ain't got these camps. They ain't got these camps out here for nothing. Or these prisons, these new prisons they building. They ain't got it set up for just to have it set up. They trying to put those that's gonna resist their NWO agenda in those camps, in those prisons. That's who it's for. And they know who. So it's some serious times that's ahead, man. It's gonna get real serious. It's gonna be a trying of those that believe in Lord Yahweh Shai. It's gonna be a trying of the faith of the elect. Excuse me. If you're of the elect number of the of the 144,000 and 1/3, then I said the Lord Yahweh Shai gonna get you through it, but it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a fight, man, to get through the times that right now we're in and going forward. It's a battle now, but it's gonna get way worse. It's gonna get tough. Like I said, it's gonna get tougher, and it's gonna get, it's gonna show if you really believe in the Lord Yahweh Shai, because that's how bad things really gonna get going forward, man. You think it's bad now? Just wait until this once this stock market crash, the economy crash, the dollar's done where you can't you can't buy and sell with no more of the paper dollar, the tissue money, the monopoly money, the credit card. You can't use the credit cards, and on the way to to access anything in this society is by way of their chip. Now you got the Hour of Temptation talks about that. Now you gotta make a decision. You gotta make a decision. But like I said, ain't gonna be all out anarchy in the streets. Once that happens, once there's no way to buy and sell with the money no more, man, it's gonna be crazy out here. Like I say, one day, one day you just wake up, people just losing it, because they can't buy nothing with their money or their credit card don't work, You know what I'm saying? The stock market, the system that just crashed. So they had no access to spend their money or whatever to get things. So you gonna have folks out here just going crazy. They're gonna bust in these stores. And you gonna have some managers already heads up. You gonna have some managers that's gonna excuse me. You gonna have some managers that's of these stores gonna be getting the heads up to, hey, don't come to the store. Don't tell your employees. You're gonna have, excuse me. You're gonna have some employees. Excuse me. You're gonna have some employees of stores not knowing what's going on. They might ride to their job like, what's going on? Like, why is it closed or shut down? We're gonna have retail stores, place shutting down, and the managers might even tell their employees. They're gonna find out the hard way, showing up. And that happened one time back, I don't want to know, was it 2020? 2021? It might be 2021, something like that. I forgot what year it was. Folks showed up and they said the store is closed. The manager didn't tell the store is closed for good. And they showed up to work thinking that, just a normal day. And the store is closed. So that's how it's gonna be, man. Folks gonna wake up one day. It's just gonna probably be just one day, man. Just, things just gonna be drastically gonna change. All hell gonna break loose out here, man. People gonna get desperate, man. And that's privacy, man. That's in Second Ezra, man. Going to about that 16. Goes into about how they shall be had no pity upon their neighbors because of the lack of bread, and the lack of just not having what they need to have to survive out here. So it's gonna get wild out here, man. But it's going to about Trump go. So I'm gonna get I don't want to make this too long, but I'm going to about Trump saying 1929. The Great Depression. So I'm going to about that timeline, of that time. So I'm going to so this is the AI overview. So the Great Depression in generally considered to have lasted from 1929 to 1939. However, the impact of the Depression varied, with some considered its effects to linger until the start of World War II in 1941. So we'll go to like kind of like the breakdown instead of breakdown here. The Great Depression began with the stock market crash in October 1929. So look at that month, look at that month right there. So usually the crash happens in the fall, in the fall anyway, going into the fall, right? So you're looking at August now, going to September with this situation with Trump with these tariffs. It could lead to a possible stock market crash. We'll see how things go. But he talking about if they voted now, it's gonna lead to a stock market depression, the Great Depression, stock market crash. It could lead either or. It don't matter. It probably got to happen, right? Let's say, you know what I'm saying, we are heading into that direction right now. Let's just say that. Let's say by September. By September, I say probably the middle of September or going to the beginning of October. Because right here it says the Great Depression stock market crash happened in October. So we in that range of this stock market crash coming about. When it happens, when this stock market crash happens, there's no turning back. There's no ain't no turn back, but there's no reviving after, once this happens. Once this stock market crash happens, it is over for America Babylon Creek. This is it. Ain't no goddamn reviving, because like I say, this stock market crash happened in 1929, then it went all the way up to 1939. So 10 years or so, about a decade, right? But they came back. Things started coming back for them once World War II in 1941. But I'm gonna read some more going to, but it says the peak of unemployment reached over 20% by 1933. So you're gonna have unemployment. You're gonna have people out here no job. You're gonna have retail stores and clothing. These malls and stuff closing because ain't nobody got no money and can't get no job. Can't even get job now. Folks can't get jobs now. Can't get no work now. It's like if you don't have no like some type of skill or something like building or engineering or something like that, then it's gonna be tough for you to get like just a regular old job now. Back then it wasn't hard to just get a regular old job. Now it is because of what Trump doing with these tariffs. He putting these tariffs on is making it tougher and making it harder. But now he's pushing it more. Now he pushing more tariffs on these other countries, and they not liking that, and it's gonna cause problems. It's gonna cause it's gonna cause goods that's coming from these other countries to not come through. You're gonna start seeing store shelves getting low. Not being stocked up like they used to. Especially the overhead of the store shelves. You see the overhead of the store shelves, if they getting low and not restocking, things ain't gonna get no better. Things not getting stocked or getting low. So you're heading to a real serious situation. And like I said, these people ain't gonna tell you, hey, y'all better stock up or whatever it may be. They ain't gonna tell you this stuff. By the time that happens, it's gonna be too late. Folks gonna start panic buying once they start, seeing what's going on, or, by then it's too late. You know what I'm saying? That's all they got left in the store. That's it. Ain't no restocking. That's all they got left. That's all they got. So it's gonna be crazy out here, man. It's gonna get chaos. It's gonna get chaotic. Let me see. But yeah, it's some more. This is. They said factories of the Great Depression. Great Depression was the depression length is attributed to various factors, including slowing uh, consumer demand, mounting debt, decreased the industrial production. So this stock market crash, is gonna slow things. Once it happens, it's gonna just be just over with. Once this stock market crash happens, so like I say, ain't gonna be no bounce back. once this stock market crash right here, once it come about, if it happens this year, not saying it will, but it's a possibility. It could be right there heading in that direction. We'll see. If not this year, definitely next. Definitely possibly next year for sure. Because you see the trending of the decline, so you know that it's coming. So next year could be definitely where it's all over with. But it could happen this year. It could happen this year. So it could happen in 2025 instead of 26. But just know that decline is of the of America, Bible the Great, and this economy and everything, the way it's going, is eventually the stock market is going to crash. Yeah, so that's it on that. So, see. And like I said, eventually and then I said World War III is going to come about. And, World War III, that's it. World War III is going to be, by way of thermal missiles being shot. It's not going to be no long, drawn-out war either. So, that's going to come about as well. So, go from there to... We'll get the scripture on this because I did not want to make this too long. It's Zephaniah 1:10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I'll read that again, Zephaniah 1:10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shah, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. So, it's gonna be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, because I said they stopped the Wall Street, the trade, Wall Street, they trade and all that. They starting them folks that be in the rooms looking at the trade and all that stuff. That they paying attention to the stocks and all that, the market. They watching the market and all that, how it's going. And them folks see everything just completely just go flat, right? Completely just go all the way out, down, over with. You gonna hear them folks be like, hey, you gonna probably hear them folks like scream like, no! You're gonna lose everything. Like, it's over. They know like it's over. This ain't no comeback from this. They know it. Like once it completely just shoot down, boom, everything gonna stop, man. It's over with. Ain't no coming back from it, man. Right? And the howling, because you had that first one. I said the first one was 1929 that happened, right? And then you had the first one in 1929 that happened. The folks went, the people, people lost their mind then, Then you had the second one. It says in the howling from the second, they had a second. And folks lost their mind. They jumped off buildings, killed themselves. That was the house market. That was the house market crash that happened in 2008. When that happened, it messed up a lot of people's investments and this and that. Lost money, Like I say, folks, like, they committed suicide. Yeah, folks committed suicide off that, man. And then right here it say a great crashing from the hill. So that means this one coming up, a great crashing. That means this is gonna be the great crash of all crashes. This is gonna be the once this crash happens, the stock market crash happens, it's gonna be worse than 1929. I'll tell you that. Ain't no bounce back, nothing, from it. You know what I'm saying? And like I saying that lasted for 10 years. That lasted for a whole 10 years there. So how much more when this happens? Once this stock market crash, man, it's gonna be man, horrible. You know? It's gonna be crazy out here. Folks gonna lose it, man. Once that happens, man. Once it happens, it's gonna be ugly. Excuse me. See, I'm going to the next verse. Zephaniah 1:11. How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. So yeah. I say, Maktesh, was if you look it up, Maktesh was a place of trade. They trade and all good stuff like that back in the day, way, way back, right? You look it up. So, and like I said, Lord Yahushua he gonna stop all this. You know what I'm saying? Lord Yahushua gonna cut down and, it's gonna be an end of all this, trading and all this stuff with the stock market and money exchange and all all this what's going on in the stock market exchange and all that, and Lord gonna cut it off. Gonna have these Edomites, in a frenzy for especially I say the ones that's into the stocks and all that is gonna, I say, lose their minds, man. Why is this happening? It's going down like that. It's loyal about strong control, but the prophecies got to come to pass. But like I said, it's all leading up to the mark of the beast, man. The RFID chip gonna be mandatory. It's gonna be the problem to the solution, right? If you can't buy and sell with the paper dollar, goods worthless. The credit card, debit cards ain't worth nothing. What's the problem to the solution? The RFID chip being made mandatory. Only way for you to buy and sell and to stay to function in the society, and to have your accounts and stuff like that, your information within your hand, and have access to it, so within your hand or your forehead, whatever, it don't matter, you take it whatever, but like say you take it, you're damned, to destruction by the Lord Yahushua, so. But as I say, it boils down to if you let the Lord Yahushua gonna have mercy on you, the Lord Yahushua gonna, he's gonna fight for his elect. He's gonna avenge his elect. He's gonna make sure his elect is taken care of when the stock market crash do happen. Once this great crash happens, the stock market crash, but the elect, the Lord Yahushua gonna make sure his elect excuse me. Lord Yahushua gonna make sure that his elect is taken care of. Especially in these times right now, going forward. Hopefully I'm part of righteous number. Hopefully Lord Yahushua have mercy upon me, to make it through. But hey, it's all about the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, the Israelites. So hey, it's all about keep your faith in Lord Yahushua, keep keep your faith in Lord Yahushua, keep fighting. Just hold on, man. That goes for me first and foremost. Hold on to your faith to the end, even unto death. So with that, again, I'd like about present and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, to the policy elders, to the Sisakin brothers, to the few Aqua sisters that do listen, keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting. That say Shalom.